3 Count Thursday is sponsored by Arena Eats. Log on to the website arenaeats.app, that's arenaeats.app, for the ultimate fan experience. At your favorite sports venue, Arena Eats mobile app, pre-order, express pickup, and in-seat delivery. How do you place your order? And 1 year ago today, it was the World Health Organization declared COVID-19 a global pandemic. And, I think we were all, kind of shook, and we were all kind of, what does this mean and what happens? And we had seen the NBA shut down and baseball shut down and NHL shut down and workplaces were shutting down. And, is it safe to go to a store? Is it safe to go here? Is it safe to do anything besides, is it safe to walk around my block and all of this? And the first episode of WWE, they aired some clips. Triple H and Michael Cole were on commentary together, which I would love to see that team back together for a night. That was fun. But you're in an empty performance center, and is WrestleMania happening? What we didn't know anything at that point. So now we're literally a year later, and we're looking back over performance center shows and empty Daly's Place and cinematic matches and the Thunderdome and all the things that this last year has given us. So I thought it would just be kind of fun to look back and what were some of the things that wrestling got right? What were some of the things that wrestling got wrong? And because I think there are some pushes that happened this year and some things that happened this year that we may not have gotten if crowds were still in place. So does anybody want to kick us off with the good, the bad, the ugly, the interesting, the surprise, whatever?
I will kick us off with the unexpected rise of Otis. Because of the pandemic, we got Otis representing for us big boys. That was a fun time, man. It was really fun having Otis at the top of the heap. Possibly threatening for the world title. So cool.
And that's one of the ones.
Oh yes, Chucky, we have our top suspect, tomato chips.
That I will go ahead and say we don't get that if there's fans in the building. If it wasn't for the situation, I don't even know if we get Otis in the Money in the Bank match, more or less winning it. I think that was a 100% product of, this guy's goofy. He's a character. He's fun. He's comedic. And it was a funny way to work him into shows. I don't think we get there if it wasn't for the pandemic. I'll kind of stick with this theme in a much different way. I don't know if we get this version of Roman Reigns this year without the pandemic. We may have gotten there eventually. We may have gotten some version of it. But WWE had given us no reason to believe that you were going to change Roman's look, change Roman's style, his booking, his attitude, anything. He goes away and he returns a different Roman Reigns. He returns with Paul Heyman. That's something I don't know if we get that if we don't have the pandemic. Do you guys think that we get there?
No, I was thinking the same thing even before you mentioned it. I don't know that we would have got the heel Reigns with Heyman. I absolutely love it, but I don't know if that would have happened without the pandemic. with fans in the building. Yeah, I don't know. I don't see that happening. At least not right away, or not within the past year.
I think we get there, but it's not as dramatic. Like I think the way that his return happens and everything, the drama makes it much better.
I don't think we get the Fiend the way we've gotten him either, because the cinematic stuff with the Fiend, a lot of that is stuff you can't do in front of a live crowd. A lot of what made the Fiend fantastic this past year, we don't get 50% of it if there's live people in the audience, because of like the cutaways, the pre-recorded stuff. And this is just beyond the cinematic matches. You know, do
Right.
we get those without a pandemic? Probably not either, maybe, but who knows? But for sure, a lot of the good stuff from the Fiend and with Alexa is just tough to do if there's an audience in-house.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know that they've used the Thunderdome to the fullest extent of its like capabilities for the entire time. But yeah, the stuff with the Fiend and Alexa and Randy, and like over the last, month, 6 weeks, whatever it is. I mean, obviously they don't fully light the Fiend's carcass on fire if there's a crowd there, because when are you going to do that dummy switch? So yeah, like it sucks that we're still dealing with no fans at WWE shows, and we're still doing the virtual thing. Which, by the way, did you see? Was it Bleacher Report WWE or WWE on Fox? But they posted like classic moments in WWE history with like the virtual fans in the background, like the Undertaker's loss with like the Thunderdome screen, and like the screw job with the Thunderdome, and it hurt my soul that they inserted virtual fans into like the Montreal screw job.
Is that on the WWE website?
It was either Bleacher Report's WWE Twitter, or it was WWE on Fox's Twitter. Start at Bleacher Report, because I feel like it was there, and it was earlier in the week. Devin here says the cinematic matches. Lee was going to echo what you said about the Fiend. But it sucks. But having no fans and whatever. But I said this back, even when we had WrestleMania, and it was a bummer that we had a WrestleMania at the Performance Center in front of the fan in the ceiling. But to me, one of the best things in this year that was with pro wrestling is that we always still had it. AEW found ways to adapt. WWE found ways to adapt. Impact came back. Ring of Honor came back. MLW came back. Like, wrestling didn't stop. And when we went months without sports and we were watching old games, rebroadcast of old games and old golf matches and stuff like that, wrestling was still new. Wrestling was still there on a Monday night, Wednesday night, Friday night, pay-per-views. It was there to entertain us. And to me, that especially for the first couple of months when like things really sucked. And not that they don't still kind of suck, but like things really sucked. That was such a welcomed escape. And I think it, for me anyway, and I hopefully for a lot of people, like it just kind of like re-emphasized like just my love for professional wrestling, because it as it always has been, it never went away. Like to me, that was a great thing. 3 Count Thursday is sponsored by Arena Eats. Log on to the website arenaeats.app. That's arenaeats.app for the ultimate fan experience. At your favorite sports venue, Arena Eats mobile app, pre-order, express pickup, and in-seat delivery. How do you place your order? And
it just encourages me that I feel like it's going to be stronger when it comes back.
Yeah, I think so.
Because did you see, and I don't know if you're going to cover it in the news and rumors, but there's talks that WWE is going to tour again.
Yeah,
That
possibility.
they're going out. Their talks in the summer.
Yeah. Which I mean, because for a while we were under the belief that besides Raw and SmackDown and pay-per-views, that there wasn't really going to be live shows from the WWE. You know, maybe the occasional, you know, holidays at MSG and stuff like that. You know, your biggest markets, but the only time you were going to see WWE live was for TV. So, yeah, you know, that's exciting. That's encouraging. You know, that even indie shows have found a way to adapt and continue and do some things. And I mean, obviously some had some you know, COVID issues and whatnot, but they've all found, you know, kind of found ways to adjust and get through it.
Who would have thunk that the current political climate would benefit WWE more than the previous?
Yeah. Kind of did not see that coming. Did not see that coming.
It's SummerSlam 2020 all over again.
Intern Mark, anything from the last year, good, bad, in between?
Well, I'd say same thing you said, Jim. I'm just thankful that when everything kind of shut down, and I'm not a sports fan, but pro wrestling kept going on with new live content. So even though it wasn't ideal conditions with no fans, but it was still content every week. And I was thinking too, the Undertaker AJ Styles match for WrestleMania last year. How far in advance was that announced? And because I don't think they were actually going to have. I think it always was that Boneyard match. It wasn't something where they had to make that cinematic because of the pandemic.
No, because they laid the groundwork for that at the Saudi show in February. I think it was February, because they did that the Battle Crag tournament or whatever.
So to give it to you in perspective, and let me just go to what WrestleMania 36 was. So WrestleMania 36 was April 4th and 5th.
Okay.
March 23rd, AJ announces the Boneyard match.
Yeah, because I think we, you know, we kind of knew.
So 2.5 weeks before WrestleMania,
we kind of knew that they were on a collision course, because it was the Saudi show. Which can you look at when the date of that Saudi show was? Because it was
that Super Showdown?
I think so, because Elimination Chamber was the last show, the last pay-per-view before things shut down. It was like on the 8th of March. Raw the next night was the last WWTV that was alive, and then 2 days later it shut down.
Yep. So it was February 27th, 2020. It was the To Wake Trophy.
Yes.
Gauntlet match
that
Undertaker won.
Yeah.
The Aggro Crag.
The Aggro Crag. So Taker won that by defeating AJ Styles, and that kind of laid the groundwork to start us towards WrestleMania, because I think there was rumblings that those two were being discussed. And then when it you know, when we end up in these empty buildings, it was like, are they really just going to do a match between AJ Styles and The Undertaker in an empty performance center? I'm like, that's probably not going to go well. But what, I mean, I just assumed they were going to back out. And then, you know, when, you know, ponytail biker guy starts showing up at the performance center and they announce the Boneyard match. What the fuck is a Boneyard match? And obviously, you know, that was the first cinematic match, and to me is still the best one. And it exceeded my expectation. I don't think I had expectations. I had no clue what the hell they were going to do. And, you know, and it goes down in history. And I think too, you know, one of the highlights, of the year was like the like documentary programming that we got as well. Like, I mean, The Last Ride, and I mean, we've had it before, but like when you have more time on your hands to delve into things, it was pretty cool as well. Lee says here in the comments, just like any rough spot I've been through throughout my life, wrestling has always been there, at least for a little bit every week. Yeah, I remember, because WrestleMania, you said it was April 4th, and they moved it to 2 nights, but that's less than a month from really when the world stopped, and that was literally days after I found out that I went from working at home to furloughed. So like everything in my life was ass over tea kettle at that point. I mean, I was and for me to be able to put on the WWE network and escape that and just get kind of lost in wrestling for a couple hours for 2 straight days, that was awesome. I mean, I had stopped doing the show. We took a couple of weeks off the show, which we had never really done before. We would have a week or two here or there where we had something recorded, but we never really stopped. And I to 100% honest, I had no clue if or when. I mean, I figured when it was going to happen at some point, but I had no clue when that we were going to start doing shows again. And then I was like, Matt and Ryan, you guys did the WrestleMania preview show, and I was like, you know what? I'm just gonna call in and I'm gonna jump on and from that point on, and then when I kind of got lost into WrestleMania, I was like, holy hell, I needed that. So and we adapted. We done what everybody else is doing at this point. You do Zoom calls and whatnot, and it's I've used this show and wrestling to be that, and it's been great, and things are somewhat looking a little bit positive again. I mean, I'm my concern is in things from the last year is still kind of holding my excitement in a little bit, but there is reason to be a little bit optimistic here, and I think it's something that and Mark's gone. Oh, there he's back. But yeah, I mean, it's and I think too, not just from WWE, not just from NXT, but like at times like AEW, and there has been points where I've thought the in-ring work was even better than we had gotten from the companies beforehand, because they realized when there's no crowd, there's more of an emphasis. So I give kudos to everybody across the board, for stepping up their game when they had to.
Right on.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, thank you, wrestling.
100%. All right. Any other thoughts from the year that was before we get to the news?
All I'll say is this. When New Year's hit, I said that the world and everything in general had until March 11th to shake off. You had 2 months and some change to shake off all the rest of the bad stuff that happened in 2020. So starting tomorrow until the end of the year, get your ish together, 2021.
Right?
No surprises, no bad surprises, no new super pandemics.
No, please
no.
Nothing. Please no.
I don't need a Sharknado being a thing.
Right. Yeah, we don't need any of that. We need good things. We need good things. All right.
It was one thing after the other. It was awful.
Yeah.
When is Miriam's Pies going to come out with their own COVID vaccine?
Well,
because we got Moderna. Did you get the Moderna or the Johnson & Johnson or the Pfizer or the Miriam's Pies?
Miriam's Pies.
Man, if they put that in a whoopie pie, I'd be all about it right now.
Absolutely.
You won't get the soreness in the arm with the Miriam's one. Just get the tingling on the tongue.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know how I feel if I end up getting my shot at the vet, but you know what? At this point, I'll take it. If I have to go to the vet, if I have to go to the dentist, whatever. I'm
just gonna go a little twofer for Skipper. Like, I'm coming to pick up some CBD stuff for him, and then for me, can you just give me that code?
Hey, what are we seeing Skip for today? No, I'm here for my shots.
He drove me in. They told me that I wasn't safe to drive after the COVID shot,
yes.
So I brought Skip.
He's out in the car.
He's gonna drive me home.
3 Count Thursday is sponsored by Arena Eats. Log on to the website arenaeats.app, that's arenaeats.app, for the ultimate fan experience. At your favorite sports venue, Arena Eats mobile app, pre-order, express pickup, and in-seat delivery. How do you place your order?